Hello, and welcome back to another Driftwood Public Library Adult Science Night. My name is Rachel Humpert, and I am not a scientist, but I get to play one here at the library. Last week, we did the disappearing eggshell with vinegar, and I thought it would be fun to continue on that theme, kind of. Vinegar in general. And move into fermentation of food as preservation and pickling. So I'm going to show you, this is going to be a two-part series. I'm going to do two different kinds of pickling. One is lacto-fermented, and I'm going to make sauerkraut. Personally, I'm not a fan of sauerkraut, but I know lots of people are. And it's a great way to get more of that lactobacillica bacteria into your body that is good for you, which we have previously discussed in our cheese making and in our sourdough bread making video. And then the other pickling is going to be the quick pickling. So I'm going to start with showing you how to start your sauerkraut. I just have 1/4 head of cabbage in this bowl because I only have little jars here at the library, and I didn't want to make like 4 jars of pickles or of sauerkraut. So the first step I'm going to do is we're going to rub the cabbage with salt. So let's get started with the sauerkraut process. Okay, so now after a few minutes of me rubbing and kind of squeezing the cabbage, you can see that there's a lot more moisture. I'm squeezing water out of that cabbage now because the salt is helped to pull the moisture out. That's what salt does. Okay, so now we're going to place it into a clean canning jar. And it is important that it's clean because the lactobacillica needs a clean environment. Otherwise, you'll get gross, just like with your sourdough starters, people who have started their sourdough starters, you'll get gross bacteria that aren't good. So we're just going to put this in here. This is our quick pickle segment, and what I'm going to show you how to do is to make a very quick pickled salad. At least that's how I serve it. It's often called in the South fire and ice salad, and it consists of red onions, tomatoes, and cucumbers that are soaked overnight preferably, but a couple hours is all you need really, in a vinegar water solution that also I like to add a little bit of crushed red pepper and a little bit of sugar. So I'm going to show you how to make that pickling solution right now. has been a week since we started our pickling experiment. Here I have the sauerkraut, and in the sauerkraut jar, I have actually added a little bit of a weight in the form of a smaller jar filled with water. If I can open it, there we go. So, I took a clean jar, filled it with water, and I've used it as a weight. So you can see all the liquid in there. It still smells like cabbage. But most instructions that you'll find tell you to sort of stir it around every couple of days. Make sure that the liquid is covering. At this point, you want the liquid to fully cover your cabbage. And remember, I haven't added any additional liquid. This was just, the liquid that is in here is just what was in here, what was produced, what has come out of the cabbage from adding just a little bit of salt to it. So, I'm just kind of stirring it around a little bit. And now again, I don't love sauerkraut, but right now, it just tastes salty. So then using the weight, I'm going to push down. I'm pushing down on the cabbage. And since it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell fermented though yet either. Like I said, it just smells like cabbage. So I'm going to go ahead and let this sit with this weight on it now for another couple of days, and we will check in on it shortly. And now let's check in on the progress of our quick refrigerator pickles. If you'll remember, these, I've got cucumbers, tomatoes, and red onion that have been soaking in a solution of sugar, vinegar, and water, and a little bit of salt and red pepper flake for the past week now. I'm going to pop these bad boys open. And we're going to give one of them a taste. I just want to see. Ooh, oops. Okay. So, the cucumber. That is saltier than I normally do. Ooh. But it's good. It's just way saltier. I shouldn't have added as much salt as I did. And now a tomato, which the skin has started to come off of them. Those are good too. So, that's a quick pickle. These you want to keep refrigerated if you don't go through the whole pressure cooker system of like sealing up your canned goods. So these you can keep refrigerated. I've done quick pickling of all sorts of different things, not just this little pickled salad, but you can also quick pickle blueberries. Here in Lincoln County, we have an awesome blueberry farm that you can go to and do U-Pick. Although I don't know what that's going to be like this year. And when we have too many blueberries and I don't want to freeze them or turn them all into muffins, I've pickled them. And pickled blueberries are delicious. I do a similar brine, a similar pickling solution with vinegar, apple cider vinegar, or red wine vinegar, sugar, a little bit of water, a little bit of salt, peppercorns, and then take red onions and your blueberries and pack that into a jar. And then you add your pickling solution on top and you get these delicious, tart, tangy, sweet, salty blueberries that are really good on salads. So that is my recommendation. And we will check in again in a few days to see how our sauerkraut is doing. right, let's check in on our pickling and our fermenting. Just a quick reminder, we did some quick pickling with some cucumbers, red onions, and tomatoes. Here, these were just pickled in a solution of vinegar, water, salt, and sugar. I added some red pepper flakes as well, just to add a little heat to it. And then we have our longer fermented, brined sauerkraut, which I've done. It's been about 10 days since we started the sauerkraut. I added a small jelly jar to add a little bit of pressure and to help get the sauerkraut, help release some of the water from the sauerkraut. So, it still smells like cabbage. I've never been a big sauerkraut fan, but I think this is pretty good. I made sauerkraut one other time. For Super Bowl, I made Reuben egg rolls with corned beef and sauerkraut and rye breadcrumbs and a Thousand Island dipping sauce. They were delicious. So there is our sauerkraut. Just going to use my little fork here to get a little bit out. It's still crunchy. It's very salty. Ooh. Sauerkraut, to like properly really sour, can take like up to a month to get there. Ooh, that was salty. Oh, it's not sour at all though. It just tastes like salty cabbage. So, but it doesn't smell bad. It doesn't smell rotten. There's no evidence of mold or anything like that. So it seems to be like it's still on its way. So I think I will keep fermenting that to see how much more I can get out of it. Now, on to our quick pickles. All right. I checked in on these a few days ago and they were a little bit salty for my taste. So I added a touch more sugar to the pickling solution. Just to help sweeten it up a little bit. Because with these pickles, I prefer more of like a sweet and sour kind of a thing going on. So here's some tomato. I didn't take the skins off of these, so the skin is coming off. Much better. Contrary to the face I just made. Ooh, those tart. They're not nearly as salty. And there is a nice bit of heat going on. Yeah, those are good. So, you could serve this as a side dish at your summer barbecue. You could just snack on them. And the red onion, you could eat the red onion, or the red onion can act as just a little bit of a flavoring component to your pickling solution. But man, ooh, that's a nice slow burn on the back of my tongue. That's good. And it's pretty. See how pretty that is? Wouldn't you just love to open up your refrigerator and see that in there? So that's pickling and fermenting. It's been used for thousands of years to help keep food from spoiling and going rotten, to keep people, to preserve your food. Much like cheese and sourdough, it's all in that kind of same family of naturally preserving food so that it doesn't get spoiled and rotten. So that's it. If you have, if you'd like to get the handout, the information about how to do your own sauerkraut and your own quick pickles, visit the Driftwood Public Library website at www.driftwoodlib.org. If you liked this video, please feel free to share it with your friends and family, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you can see more Adult Science Night videos when they're posted, as well as our puppet shows, story times, craft hours, all sorts of different videos that we're trying to branch out into. So, thanks for watching.